Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a focused learner trying to figure out exactly where enterprise AI is heading, you are absolutely in the right place. Let's just dive right in, because honestly, the stakes right now are incredibly high. For the last couple of years, we've essentially been in the party phase of AI, right? Budgets just sort of magically appeared out of nowhere, pilots were spun up left and right, and everyone got a little drunk on the sheer possibilities of it all. But that grace period? That time for just playfully experimenting? Yeah, that's over. We are shifting rapidly from these scattered, fun little projects to fundamental business transformation. And the 2027 AI Performance Review is looming right around the corner.
So, to help you and your organization actually survive this upcoming audit, we're going to walk through a 5-part playbook today. We'll cover 1. The 2027 AI Review, 2. Strategy over scattered projects, 3. Cut time to create value, 4. Taming your ghost agents, and finally, number 5, measuring true AI ROI.
All right, let's kick things off with Part 1, the 2027 AI Review.
Think back to early 2023. We kicked things off in this massive discovery phase, which moved incredibly fast into experimentation and deployment. But right now, well, we're kind of in the AI hangover. We're in the operationalization phase. Spending got way out of hand, tokens were maxed out, and now the headache of actual budget scrutiny is really setting in. And that brings us to 2027, which we're calling redesign. Guys, this is the deadline. 2027 is the year leadership is going to look at this massive multi-year investment and demand to know what on earth was actually achieved. Because of this, the whole conversation is about to shift drastically. I mean, if you lead AI right now, your performance review used to be pretty easy. You were evaluated on motion. Did you stand up a program? Did you drive daily active usage? Great. But that grace period is ending. Expectations are moving from those easy adoption metrics to some much, much harder questions. This upcoming review is going to brutally demand proof of impact. Are departments actually redesigning how they work? Can we measure hard, undeniable ROI? Just running a cool adoption program? That's simply no longer enough.
Which leads us perfectly into Part 2, strategy over scattered projects. I really want you to ask yourself this critical audit question, and be honest. If you paused every single AI initiative at your company tomorrow and asked all those different teams where they're heading, what would you hear? Do their answers point in one consistent direction, or are they just, well, locally reasonable, but collectively a total mess?
Understanding this contrast is absolutely crucial. Now, projects and strategy both require budget, and they both create activity. But projects? They're just momentum-driven. They turn into this messy accumulation of isolated pilots that nobody ever bothers to close out, and they just quietly drain your money month after month. A strategy, on the other hand, is destination-driven. It's a set of aligned, deliberately curated initiatives that are actually designed to move the needle for the business.
So how do we fix this? You have to align from the top down. You need an organization-level strategy starting with an AI manifesto. Literally, what is your unique, differentiated reason for even using AI? From there, you set very narrow, high-level organizational goals, like we're going to triple productivity by 2027. And finally, you have to establish a clear ownership structure. Because without governance, you are essentially just rolling out the red carpet for uncoordinated shadow AI to take over your company. Okay, moving on to Part 3, cut time to create value. Honestly, this might be the most important dividing line in our entire explainer today. Are people just doing their work faster? Or are they doing work that wasn't even possible before? Speed is great, sure, but speed is the absolute shallowest thing AI can do for you. Your competitors have the exact same speed from the exact same models. Real, unique business transformation that only happens when you start doing work that simply wasn't possible before. And the scale of this opportunity is just massive. Right now, 42% of AI-proficient frontline workers are saving at least 8 hours a week. Just think about that for a second. That is literally an entire workday recovered every single week. For an enterprise, that is a jaw-dropping achievement.
But, and this is a devastating caveat, 2 out of 3 employees receive absolutely zero guidance on what to actually do with that saved time. So we've built this incredible, unprecedented engine for recovering time. But without leadership, that time just evaporates. It turns into answering more emails, sitting in longer meetings, or just having a slower Friday afternoon. If you let that happen, you are entirely wasting the biggest dividend of enterprise AI.
To solve this, you need to use what we call the cut and create framework. Cut means exactly what it sounds like. Outsourcing inefficient old tasks, slow first drafts, manual summaries, straight to AI. It's totally necessary, but it's only half the battle. Cut just buys the time. Create is how you invest it. Create means taking those 8 saved hours and deliberately investing them into entirely new capabilities, new products, and driving new revenue. And the beauty of this framework is that it scales brilliantly across the entire company. But you, as a leader, must guide this conversation at every single altitude. At the individual level, ask, what tasks do I stop doing? And what can I do now? At the team level, what processes do we eliminate? And what new capabilities do we build? All the way up to the enterprise level, where you're deciding which entire business lines to sunset and what brand new businesses you can introduce.
All right, let's look at part 4, taming your ghost agents.
This is a very serious question. The barrier to building automated AI agents has practically dropped to 0. So these agents are multiplying quietly across your business, and usually they are completely unmanaged. You really have to ask yourself, how many of these are actually driving value and how many are just burning through your tokens? This leads us to a massive blind spot, the ghost agent problem. Here's how it happens. Step 1, a well-intentioned employee builds a helpful agent on a daily schedule. Step 2, they forget about it, or maybe they get promoted, or worse, they leave the company entirely. Step 3, that agent just keeps running in the background. It's happily consuming expensive tokens and producing output for an audience of exactly 0. Now, multiply that by thousands of employees across an enterprise. You've suddenly got a massive, invisible budget drain on your hands. So how do we put a stop to this? You need a spectrum of governance based on the agent's scope. For personal agents, let your employees build freely, but, and this is key, give those agents an automatic 30-day expiration so they don't turn into ghosts. For team agents, you step it up, require some approvals and oversight. But for business-wide agents that touch your core systems, like your CRM, those require strict centralized building and oversight from your AI team. Because if one of those fails, it fails for everyone. Finally, we've arrived at part 5, measuring true AI ROI. Look, by 2027, advanced boards aren't just going to ask you about software usage rates, they are going to challenge you to rethink your entire scoreboard. Think about it. Every KPI in your company was designed for a world with a very specific cost structure. But AI has fundamentally decoupled input from output. Measuring your success simply by headcount effort or the amount of time spent on a task, that is quickly becoming completely obsolete. So, practically speaking, how do you track this new reality? We look at it in 3 ways. First, measurable ROI. This is looking at quantifiable changes in specific workflows that tie directly to your revenue and costs. Second, directional ROI. This is where you track key team metrics over time, specifically comparing your AI power users against your non-users. And third, assumed ROI, calculating the equivalent headcount efficiency you gain when a large chunk of your workforce finally becomes highly proficient with AI. As we wrap up today, I want to leave you with this final, highly provocative thought. It's really the ultimate founder's view. If your core unit of production, whether that's a consulting deliverable, a line of code, or a marketing campaign, literally just got 10 times cheaper to produce, well, everything is up for renegotiation. So, what would your business look like if you built it from scratch today? Think really hard about that, because redesigning your business around that reality, that is your true mandate before the 2027 performance review comes knocking. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you next time.